So I thought I'd make a quick video. I was thinking the last couple of days more detailed about the whole experience going to this little blind deaf girl who was disabled, and Joni, my aunt, who used to take care of her. And I was about 10 years old when I went there, and I remember, I'm gonna go into more details and I could draw pictures. There was no wall. This is like a I think the house was like 2.5 million at least. And this is like in the early 90s. I was about 10 years old, and they used to have a security guard. He was gated, walled off, and then they had a big giant pool house. The pool house was like a two-story, it was like a massive house as well. And all the walls of the entire house had been removed, nearly all of them except for the kitchen and the little girl's room, I think. And so that the little girl could have the whole house to herself. I'm not kidding you. The little girl was like 10 years old at the time as well, or something like that, or maybe even younger, or maybe a year older than me. And she was, so she had the whole $10 million house. This is the time when I'm watching my own sister flop up and down on the performance stage, throwing up and shitting herself, and eating shit nearly off the fucking floor. And Joni told me, and I asked, she said, yeah, they got cameras all over the place. I said, do they got cameras in the house when we're in the kitchen? He goes, yeah, they probably do, yeah. But I could tell her sort of unsketchiness of this situation. And I want to say that this is where she mentioned my sister. That, you have a sister. She's either said, yeah, your mom goes, oh, don't worry about it. So it was shrugged off because she knew that my mother was just all fucked up. And I'll go into more details about that. And I kept on asking something like, what are you talking about? I have a sister. I don't know if you're talking about Sarah or... No, never mind, nothing. So anyway, I talk about this because I think it's important. I remember that little girl had the house was like about 2.5 million. It was massive, and like there was no walls. Everything was finesse carpet. And I remember running, kind of walking through the massive house. Everything state of the art. The little girl had 2 pink rooms. I remember being in a room and it was all pink and had all the toys. I mean, it was just everything 5-star, and it was just way out of anything I've ever seen in my life. And I asked Lupe, I asked Joni, I said, how did you get this job? And he goes, yeah, they don't pay all that great. And she said, and she told me this because I wanted to find out how she got a job. How do you go to work for some white people like that, like, in a house like that? We're wetbacks and Mexicans and shit. And she said that she was looking for a job and she put her name out. I don't know if it was a staffing agency or someone else, but they contacted her because she had already been a nanny before. So they had contacted Joni, these people specifically, to put her in her house. And this is where they probably had hidden cameras in the fucking house to then take pictures of video of me, Julian, Joni, and I don't know if Julian was with us. I think he could have. Frankie could have been with us too. I know I wasn't. One of my brothers was with me. But I thought I'd make this video to talk about that. That she said that these people had sought her. This is how the level of network and communication and gay community and all this other shit. And I want to say that Joni either told me these people were gay or the guy was gay, but they spoiled the hell out of this little girl. I'm not saying it is bad, but this is the same time when I'm watching this shitting incident. You see how Michael Jackson now works? I bet you that was connected to Ken and Sarah Cooper. It just explodes because they can profile everyone, because guess who's stupid and not educated? And guess who's young and vulnerable? But you got the Michael Jackson political American flag ticket though, huh? So anyway, I thought I'd talk about that. I'll go into more details and I'll draw pictures of this little girl's house. This little girl, and Joni told me, she goes, yeah, this house is pretty much like all hers. Like the whole fucking house. Everything. Like this little girl could just, they had like little footsteps, all carpeted, and like the walls, I think, were like fixated for a blind deaf girl so she couldn't get injured. So basically, this little girl's the house was all herself, and she was just a single girl, little girl. And I'm watching, this little girl throw up, and I mean, it was my sister, and on the fucking, grabbing noodles and shit off the floor. That's how they targeted us, and nobody knows about that story. You could probably find out where this house is and ask Joni where. She'd tell you be able to where this house was. But she had told me, she said, she had mentioned and said, when I was in this little girl's room, he goes, "Yeah, you have a sister." And all she did, when I was in the little girl's room, and she had like this queen bed, and I was just kind of looking at the toys and stuff. And I was on the floor. I was like, "Damn, this floor is like super padded, like 4 layers of carpet or some shit, 5, 10 layers of carpet." And she looked over at me. He goes, "Yeah, you have a sister. You know that, right?" He goes, "Yeah." And I look at her and I'm like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And I walked over to the kitchen about 10 minutes later. "Hey, what are you talking about? You talking about Sarah, like my dad's first wife, or Sarah?" "No, you don't know you have a sister." "No, don't know." But before I went to the kitchen, I remember her walking. I said, "What are you talking about?" And she looked at me like, "Yeah, your mom?" "No." And she's like, and she was like, "This is a mess of things." So there you go. Kane Cooper for their savior, and Sarah Cooper was her angel.